Welcome to the channel. My name is Elio. This is DJ Elio Entertainment. Thank you guys for joining us. Before I get into this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna try to put out some cool DJ content for all my followers, anyone who's in the DJ industry, etc, etc. And this video specifically is going to be my 5 top favorite DJ controllers. Now, I really want to put a disclaimer out there, like there's a ton of DJ controllers that are available. I do have a bias towards Pioneer controllers. It's just how I started. It's what I, have been using my whole career. I love DDJ 1000. That's my main controller. I love Pioneer. They create, from the beginner to the extreme professional, best controllers out there. They don't sponsor me at all. Who knows? Maybe this video will get a lot of likes, a lot of views, and they'll, see kind of how their customer base is, because I'm essentially their customer base in terms of like, the niche. And I love their products. So before I, keep going into the video as well, disclaimer, like there's a ton of great controllers. Denon, if that's how you say it, or Denon. They make amazing controllers too. I've used them before. I would put them in the same category. They just didn't, I didn't put any of my top 5 of Denon, but they could easily fit in any certain place. Like I have no, like this is all about, the most part, preference. There's a lot of great controllers, and it's not about controller. It's about the user, so it's like one of those old saying. I've heard this before from other, like Greg, you said, is actually like I heard this from, who's a great fitness channel. He was like, it's not the coach that makes the player, it's the player that makes the coach. Same thing with your DJ controller. It's not the controller that makes the DJ, it's the DJ that makes the controller. You can have some amazing DJs do an amazing set without even a controller. They can just use their laptop and still create an awesome set, so it's very much the DJ and their experience, and then the controller comes second. So let's get into the video, and in no particular order, we're just going to start off with my favorite of all 5 of these controllers, and that is the DDJ 1000. So if you guys go to pioneerdj.com and see their controller, this is their main page. Hopefully you guys can see my screen too. So essentially this controller is basically like 2 small CDJs. If you guys don't know CDJs, they're basically like the club standard type of controller, and essentially like they're just so expensive but so amazing too. And the deck on the DDJ 1000 kind of mimics of that controller to a smaller degree, of course, and then that middle mixer is kind of mimicking like a 900 Nexus, well, with 4 channels, and you can control so much with this. Like with this actual controller, you can do so many cool type of mixes. It's such a great controller if you're like starting off your DJ career. This is probably gonna like skyrocket you in terms of your degree to learn, your ability to learn. It's definitely not a beginner controller though. My next controller I'll show you guys is more of a beginner, but to kind of show you guys more of this controller, how it looks. If you look at it from the side, it's pretty lightweight. It's easy to move around. It has all the professional outputs. It got 2 XLRs. It has 2 1/4-inch out. Each channel has their own RCA input, so you can basically create your own aux channel if you just like hook an RCA to your phone. Mic too, so it has literally everything you need. So say you're a wedding professional, say you're just a club professional, you have literally everything at the palm of your tips with this controller. And just so you guys know too, in this video, I'm not going to go into crazy great detail. I'm trying to be quick and short, let you guys know my 5 favorite controllers out there. So moving on, let's go to the FLX. So this is actually a really new controller. Who knows if it's in stock. This is what I would put at more of the beginner level controller. So I love this controller because it's basically like, it is a beginner controller, but it's starting you in the right place. It's starting you club level learning experience. So it's essentially just a smaller DDJ 1000. So if we look at it, look at the specs. So if you guys can see, you have 2 decks here. Same thing with the DDJ. You have your ability to change the tempos right there, the cue, the start, and all of your, cue buttons right here, or whatever type of, effect buttons, and your loop in and out. So this controller is amazing. Like if I was starting like to become a DJ, if this was me at the beginning, this would be the controller I would get. You can use this for a year to 2. You can rock weddings with this. You can rock club events with this. You can do cool mixes with this controller. The only caveat is it is a beginner level controller. So if we look at the outputs, you don't have too many of those club standard outputs. You know, you only have a master RCA out. So you'd be fine with that, but at most clubs, you know, you need an XLR out, something like that. So what I would do if I were you guys, I would buy this controller and then also buy a small mixer. And also you guys should have a mixer in general with any type of controller. You should be using a certain type of mixer, like every single controller, like no matter what it is. Like if you're using club standard, the best of the best, their XLR outputs, you know, you should be putting those into another more, just, it could be any type of mixer for the most part, in terms of like, just, it has to be a specific, just a mixer. Because for the most part, you know, I learned this from Nick Spinelli, and I'm sure a lot of you guys might be watching know him too. Essentially, it's just like, you know, your amplifiers in your DJ controller are not as good as the amplifiers in, you know, a regular mixer that's dedicated to just like the input and output. So I think that's why. But essentially, just rule of thumb, always use an external mixer. And so with this controller, you'd want to buy an external mixer, you know, just RCA out into an external mixer. Maybe buy an adapter with it too, to go RCA to XLR. And so essentially, you know, it's so cool. Like you guys have your like little effects buttons here, so you can do so much cool stuff with this controller. And I'd even recommend this to more professional DJs who are just like trying to practice. Like you don't need to practice with your CDJs or, you know, your like high-end type of controllers. Like you could literally perform amazing sets on this and practice before you actually get to the club level stuff. Like you have your effect buttons here, you know, for the most part you can keep it real simple and real wall controlled. So this, I would put this at number 1 on the list. It's cheap and it's also versatile, guys. It is very new. So this is probably number 1 in terms of affordability, like what you get out of the actual controller. It's worth it. So let's go to my number 3. And this, of course, it is another DDJ. As I told you guys, I preface it, I'm a DDJ, I'm a Pioneer fanboy, essentially. Their controllers are just so. Number 3 on this list is the DDJ REV-7. So this is more of like a scratch style controller. So say you're like a DJ that, you know, is into turntablism, you know, wants to scratch records. You can do that with the DDJ 1000, the first controller I showed. But with this, you actually get that scratch style feel because they're, I think, 8-inch vinyls on each side of, you know, the decks. So you have 2 right here. So, you know, it's got a motorized jog wheels. So that's essentially, you know, you can feel it out, and, you know, scratch DJs and turntablists will definitely comply with this. I'm sure a lot of professional, you know, scratch DJs, just regular DJs that are into turntablism love this controller. It's like, for the most part, probably the best controller on the market, I would say right now, because it has the best of both worlds. You know, you have this scratch style deck, the battle style layout with, you know, the tempo up here. And you also have basically like a S7 type of mixer in the middle. So you have so much ability to do cool stuff. You know, Magville faders are important for scratch. You know, DJs, you know, you have to have that ability to control the cuts. Same thing with the DDJ 1000. You also have a Magville fader, but you just don't have motorized jog wheels. So it has more of like a controller-esque feel. When you touch it, it just feels more controller-y. So let's jump back. So yeah, REV-7, definitely, you know, if you can afford it, I would get it. It's number 3 on my list. It's definitely something I plan to own in the future. You know, you can do a lot of cool stuff with this thing. And if you're looking for more information on this, just Google this controller and you'll find a million DJs talking about this thing because it's so cool. And let's go to number 4. So number 4 is actually the Rane 1. So the Rane 1's price point is like in the middle of the DJ 1000 and the REV-7. So it's a really great controller if you're, you know, into more Rane style mixer layouts. Like it is kind of off balance in terms of like the mix layout. You know, if you're like really into like a scratch DJ and turntablist, you'll like notice this. But it's something you can get used to and not really the biggest deal. You know, a lot of professional DJs use this controller as well. It does have a motorized jog wheel, so same thing as like the REV-7. The only problem with it, like not problem, but it's just the only thing is based off the effects in your internal system. So Serato, Virtual DJ, you know, whatever type of DJ program you're using, you have to like kind of assign the effects, I'm assuming, to those, you know, FX buttons. But on the REV-7, you know, on the DJ 1000, they're actually built-in effects, which makes it sound way better and also kind of just like easier for the touch and effect, and especially if you're just like trying to like start learning how to DJ. You know, so this would be number 4 on the list. Now, number 5 on the list is the Denon Prime 2. So this one is different from all the other ones. You know, it's like an intermediate style DJ controller like the DDJ 1000. The only thing with this one is though, it actually has its own DJ program built into it. So I think, you know, you can use, you literally don't need a laptop to use this controller. You can have your music on a hard drive and just plug it in, and it actually has that little layout right here, like the little screen where you guys can actually, you know, choose your music. It's definitely meant for more like the club style DJ type of, you know, vibe, like mixing in and out pretty quickly through things. I would say, you know, you have a lot of effects, a lot of controls on this. You know, it has professional style mix out, all that type of stuff. It's not meant for the more like scratch style type DJ. You know, if you're trying to scratch the record on here, you probably won't be able to too well. It won't feel too comfortable because that fader might not be as smooth. You know, don't quote me on this. For the most part, it could be smooth. You know, you guys let me know in the comments below if you guys have this controller and if you guys actually use it to scratch, you know, beat juggle, all that type of stuff. I'm assuming for the most part, it's more like, you know, you guys are just you're just being quick mixers, club style mixers. You can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Same thing we do on the DJ 1000. Most people use the DJ 1000 for the same reason. It's like half and half. You can be more club style in terms of, you know, quick mixing and, you know, playing songs very like quickly, and also like mix well, of course, but just not too much, you know, turntablism and, you know, like beat scratching into songs, like scratching other like vocals and just doing like cool wordplays. I don't know, something like that. So essentially, you know, this controller would be number 5 on the list. These are all 5 of my favorite controllers. You know, I try to go through the best amount, like the best type of basses I could for you guys. You know, you have the FLX-4. If you're a beginner DJ watching this video and you're interested in starting out, that controller is perfect. You don't need to be performing yet. You know, you can, you know, connect that to your laptop and essentially start DJing instantly. You know, you just have to kind of pay for the DJ program, Serato Virtual DJ, whichever one you guys want to use. And from there, essentially, it's like, you know, you can practice, get really good, you know, really learn how to like kind of do cool mixes and just enjoy the whole aspect of DJing. Like, it's all about creating more energy and more positivity for the community, like DJ community specifically. And, you know, if we can get more people to become DJs, more people interested in the community, you know, something like the FLX-4 was a great creation, perfect price point, and like can definitely bring in a lot of new DJs into the industry. So the FLX-4. Number 2, you have the 1000, and you know, you have the Denon Prime 2 and the Rane 1. So those 3 for the most part, like intermediate style, maybe like beginner intermediate, beginner advanced. You know, as I said in this video, the most important caveat of all this, it's the DJ that makes the controller. The DJ makes the controller, not the other way. The controller does not make the DJ. You know, your music selection and your like knowledge of like songs and mixing and how you go about it, what you learn and how you control the effects, and you know, you're producing songs literally live when you're doing these mixes and like sounds and all this stuff. So it's really important to, you know, become a great DJ first, understand music and understand like catalog and playlists and create crates and, you know, putting songs where they're supposed to be, mixing a key, BPM. There's so much, you know, in terms of just learning how to be a DJ, and then you have this technical side of all this stuff where you really have to know essentially like what you want out of it. You know, if you're just learning how to DJ, FLX-4 is perfect for you. You know, if you're intermediate and trying to like, you know, perform live, maybe you want to get some club gigs, all this other type of stuff, you know, the DJ 1000, Prime 2, Rane 1 would be great controllers for you guys to bring out and, you know, perform with. And then of course, you know, you have the Prime 2 where you don't need a laptop, and then you have the 1000 and the Rane 1 where you do need a laptop to connect Serato to, or you can connect with other program too. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're like kind of choosing your controllers. There's a ton of other controllers out there too, you guys like look from. You know, there's plenty of other videos too where you guys can research. And then the last point is just the REV-7 is the more advanced. You know, you're really trying to learn how to become like a battle style DJ. You can do a lot. And also that would also be great for events too. Like one of the probably best controllers where you guys can use in terms of like, you know, club style mixing with turntablism, and also just, you know, having the best type of mixer and the sound output, an ability to create, and the ability to become a great DJ. And then from there, you know, you guys basically rule that controller. You know it front to back, and you know exactly how to like utilize it, become a rock star DJ. And that's all we want, right? In this community, we want everyone to become rock star DJs. You know, it's super fun, and it's super amazing to, you know, perform live, and at the same time, you know, you're creating memories for people. DJing is just such a wonderful thing, and it's cool too. Like, you're just the life of the party half the time. So, you know, when you choose that controller, keep in mind whatever you guys are aiming to become. You know, you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to be the best version of your DJ self. You know, choose maybe one out of these 5 controllers to start with. Maybe the FLX-4 might be the starter with, or if you have a little bit more money to spend, you can choose any of the other like 3 middle ones. And if you're really balling out and you've been doing this for a while and you're like, all right, it's time. Like I've used the 1000, I've used every other controller. Like it's time for me to like learn battle style mixing. Then get the REV-7. You know, and if you're crazy, honorable mentions. You know, get the CDJs if you're willing to spend a lot of money on your mixer. You know, this is for the more higher end performance type of DJs. I'm sure you guys are out there. You know, that DDJ 3000 looks beautiful. You look like a rock star too when you guys use those things. So kudos to, you know, you guys when you rock out with those controllers. But of course, you know, there's so many types of DJs, so many people, and it's just, let's build this community and, you know, grow. So if you guys have any questions, you know, leave them in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, I totally appreciate it. You know, hopefully we can get this video to 100 likes. I'm starting off, you know, like this, see if we can get this to 100 likes. You know, I'll try to create more content for you guys. Leave comments on what you guys are, you know, interested in. Maybe I can help. Maybe I can do some research and, you know, help the community grow in this type of way. And of course, subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you again, and I'll catch you guys at the next time. Peace.